See, this is why sometimes you got to learn to leave people alone and mind your own damn business. This is exactly why. You bark up the wrong tree, it might just fall on you.
I offered $5 million to Caitlin Clark for the Big Three League, but I didn't even look at Angel Reese. Because of the answer, we can see a secret truth about how sponsorships work and why Reese is being criticized from every point. Angel Reese's Reebok Caitlin Clark takes over Chicago, selling out stadiums and jerseys like crazy. The campaign fades into the background. Is Reese really destined to always be Clark's shadow? Or is there a way for her brand to get out?
Orders, well, they're about to come for Ice Cube. They're about to come and get Ice Cube. We know how this works. It won't be long.
Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese, is getting $5 million from Ice Cub's Big Three League. And let's be honest, this shows how much donors value both of them. That offer wasn't a way to help someone or say thanks for playing good hoops. It was work. Simple as that. For Ice Cube, losing money is not in the cards.
This is what Ice Cube had to say. This is directly from Cube himself. With Caitlin Clark, it was just to unlock millions of dollars for the league. They didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese, so I don't know if we can make that same offer.
That $5 million check wasn't just a compliment on how good Clark was. That made it clear that she was marketable and could turn notice into money. Keep quiet for Angel Reese. Not even a look twice. So why? There is more to it than just skill versus skill. The stats are being watched by sponsors, fans, and the media.
Ice Cube. Because Ice Cube has come out and given everybody some brutal truth, and there is a portion of this that just tells you everything that we've been telling you. This is just confirmation.
Caitlin Clark's looks are what make her so appealing. They look at more than just what you do on the game. They look at how things spread out. For example, Clark's jersey sales totally go beyond what was expected. They've been at the top of the charts and done better than expected even when the WNBA season is over. That's the proof that donors live and die by. Success that can be seen and measured.
And then we got Ice Cube bombing on Angel Reese, talking about, man, she's not worth the money that Caitlin Clark was worth. Caitlin Clark unlocked millions for the WNBA. Oh, we gonna get into all of that.
You also can't argue with TV numbers. Clark's games always get twice or three times as many watchers as we've seen before. It's not just at home games either. This is everywhere. Venues are full even when Clark isn't playing. Not only the teams pay to see her, but also the fans. That's what makes her the golden ticket. It's safe to bet on her because she always pays off big. Okay, Ice Cube, you see the TMZ scoop. Angel Reese, I'm sorry. She was the only one who got the $5 million deal. It's business as usual. You can also, you know that women and men lie, but numbers don't. It's really that easy. It's really that easy. Let's go with Angel Reese now. She signed a marketing deal with Reebok, and there was a time when it looked like she and Clark would be competing for sponsorships. But as they kept going, that's when things began to fall apart. People in the business have already learned from Reese's effort with Reebok. What started out as a lot of buzz has turned into background noise because, unlike Clark, Reese isn't using her fame to get real results. It's funny that this is proof of that. From the sponsors who want to pay the money. Angel Reese fans are gonna be mad, man. Clark jerseys are flying off the shelves, but Reese's name seems to be staying the same. There isn't enough money to be made. And when money is on the line, staying the same is the same as dying. People in the industry have been watching this and giving a not-so-nice review. Caitlin Clark is seen as a safer bet. Sponsors know they can get a good return on their money with her more than with most other women's athletes. It's clear from Ice Cube that Angel Reese isn't worth nearly as much as Caitlin Clark. The Rapper-turned-league boss told TMZ this week that the snub wasn't personal, but all about business. It's just business, but you're going to make it personal. On the other hand, Reese is seen as a risk that might not pay off. Don't bet on promise when you have someone like Clark who is already doing what they say they will do. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't has never been more true in this business. because every stat, sale, and fan waiting in line for a Clark shirt says the same thing. She's a sure thing. TMZ Sports caught up with Ice Cube at LAX this week, and the triple threat boss said that there won't be a deal for Angel Reese anytime soon. What does Reese not want to do? It's not her skill. That's clear. The problem is the level of trust. Sponsors want to know that a player will protect their name, image, and money. They can almost see the money printing itself with Clark. On the other hand, Reese isn't giving them the same promise. The deal from Ice Cube doesn't end this split, though. It's even more unfair when you see Clark taking over places like Chicago that Reese should be in charge of. Pay attention to what comes next. Angel Reeves fans Ice Cube told us that Clark's backers told him that she would bring in a lot of money for his group. In Chicago, Caitlin Clark is doing something that makes everyone, even Angel Reese, scratch their heads. Shouldn't Reese be in charge of the city? But let's talk about the facts. As soon as Clark came into town, he changed the scene. A lot of people were following her around like she was Michael Jordan too. The crowds, the stadiums, and the streets. Seemed like everyone wished they could have Caitlin Clark. Where did Miss Angel Reese go? Her Reebok ad and the fact that she's in Indiana for All-Star come as a surprise. Take over your trap. How did that get lost? It looked like Caitlin Clark took over Chicago when she went there. It wasn't just talk. It was backed up by some crazy numbers. TV numbers are through the roof. A lot of people show up to almost every game, even when she's playing away from home. Also, Reese, she wasn't even there. Fans wondered if Reese wasn't in some of these matches because she didn't want to be directly compared to the other girls. One fan said, "If Caitlin's out there filling arenas, and Reese is nowhere to be found, the contrast is painfully obvious." Those are some strong words, but the numbers don't lie. It looked like she took over the city. Caitlin Clark fell into your trap. Bro, there were more people running. They were following Caitlin Clark around like she was Michael Jordan. CC with MJ. It's like MJ for CC in the rack. Oh my god. Let's look at it in more detail now. In a league where Clark effortlessly draws large groups of professionals as if it were nothing. Someone from Chicago said they drove hours just to see her, even paying more than the average price for WNBA tickets. This isn't just chance. People who pay for ads call this organic fan base growth. All of Derrick Rose, Michael Jordan, Chief Keith, Lil Durk, and Caitlin Clark are being nice to her. Chicago was taken over by Caitlin Clark. She signed things for hours. Take a look. Sponsors pay attention when people are willing to travel just to see you play baseball. In contrast, Angel Reese is still having trouble with her Reebok ad, and it makes things very clear. Early on, Reese was definitely on the rise, but it seems like the buzz isn't sticking. Clark is setting crazy high standards, and even though her shirt sales are pretty good, they aren't even close. Clark sells more than just shirts. She's changing the way people live. It wasn't paid extras who showed up to be in the scene. No, these were real people who wanted to sign things. Fans made memes that called Clark Queen of the Rack to show how powerful she was in Chicago. When was the last time that Reese took part in that kind of talk? The most bizarre part might be seeing Clark. They looked like they owned the city that Reese should have had in the palm of her hand. People were so excited that the games were sold out and into the streets. Jerseys were flying off the shelves like musical merchandise. Do something about it. Sign her up for Harold's Chicken. Mild sauce. She wants a lot of light sauce, so give it to her. She's in charge of Chicago and is the biggest and king of the rack. Someone even said it felt like a full-on fan riot. It wasn't a moment. It was a movement, and Angel Reese has to feel it. It's possible that the stress is making her miss work, which will only make things worse. Fans began to ask tough questions. Is Reese trying to avoid these events because the similarities are too much, right? If that's the case, man, it's almost impossible to fight back against all these people. Do you get what I mean? Like, sometimes you just need to figure out where you are. It sounds like Caitlin Clark walked into Angel Reese's trap. Now you know why you shouldn't keep aiming your gun at her. She took over the city. When people in Reese's neighborhood like Clark more than Reese, it's not so much about the basketball as it is about the brand. Clark is now on the same page as this powerful Momentum. It seems like Reese's potential is limited because she can't get that same level of dedication, but it all comes down to how they really see each other. This is man, come on. Man, come on. For real, I don't know how you could ever think about competing with this. Come on, you guys. Angel, just leave it alone. This is why I'm telling you to stop making yourself look crazy. There's really no comparison between the two of you. The way Chicago reacted says a lot about both Clark's power and how people in the market feel about Reese. And if since they can't seem to change their ways, the similarities to Clark will only get stronger. Is that really why Reese feels like nothing is moving right now? You need to stop trying to get close to this girl all the time because she has now done everything she can to get close to you. Take a look at the fans coming from everywhere. Angel Reese's brand is having a hard time taking off, and the reason could be easier and tougher than it seemed. People often talk about her along with Caitlin Clark, which doesn't help her. You wouldn't know that Reese is a star on her own by the way each story finishes. Going around to Clark again. So, Angel Reese, I told you to stop trying to connect with this girl all the time because you are not good enough. That's not as many people who follow you on Instagram. That's great. You are one of the bigger names in the WNBA, and I won't take that away from you. You're a star in your own right, but you're not Caitlin Clark. There is a difference. People who are always connected to Reese's brand, the media, fans, and even Reese herself, make it seem like the brand can't stand on its own. One person made a great point. You can handle things on your own. Now, why don't you? And what you said goes deeper than it seems. It suggests a problem Reese hasn't fully solved yet. Getting away from the constant comparisons. Folks, that's not the draw. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm not sure if we can still make that deal. Cube first made the offer to Clark when she was a Hawkeye at Iowa. To get that crazy amount of money, she would only have had to play in 8 regular season games and maybe 2 playoff games. People who work in the industry have also started to notice this problem. And not for no reason. For sponsors, it's not a good look when people see Reese as someone who only lives in contrast to Clark. In fact, it makes it harder for Reese to figure out who she is. Sponsors don't want a player whose name is always linked to versus. People want to be special and have their own story to tell. Caitlin Clark really took over Chicago when she went there. It's really that easy. It's really that easy, man. You really don't need to keep trying to connect with her. At the moment, it seems like Reese has to play second fiddle to Caitlin Clark's growing power. This point is made very clear by the numbers. Clark's $5 million deal from Big Three wasn't just a win for her. It was very clear what the donors thought about where the value is. Reese's absence from that talk shows how this comparison game is costing them money. If someone sees you as the other person in a rivalry instead of the main star, they are more likely to pass you up. You should know that Ice Cube doesn't lose money for fun. Of course, Angel Reese couldn't get the $5 million deal like Caitlin Clark did. What are they going to do now? Are people going to try to pull Ice Cube for? Be honest and say, yo, yeah, she's not worth 5M. I'm sorry, Caitlin Clark is. This is where things get tough. What the endorsements? The Reebok ad by Reese is a good example. Early on, there was a lot of buzz about it, but it hasn't really set the market on fire. After seeing her lack of consistency, it's not a surprise that companies aren't rushing to work with her. Clark, on the other hand, keeps going and turns her buzz into regular wins for her brand. If Ice Cube is being honest, some people will not like it because he is a smart businessman. In other words, Ice Cube is saying, we sat down and looked at the figures, and the draw wasn't there. Some of this has nothing to do with sales. It's how you see things. People have a skewed view of Reese because she is linked to Clark and the media. She can't make her own brand identity because she's stuck in this comparison bubble. It makes her less marketable and makes her image seem reactive instead of proactive. It was not going to be possible for Angel Reese to bring in enough fans for the league and the companies to make that offer worth it. Check out how other players have dealt with rivalries. But they always find a way to get out from under the shadow of their rival. The great ones make their names live on. They make their own path and get respect the way they want to. That's something Reese could learn from, since the WNBA doesn't need multiple rival stars with the same name in the long run. It needs people with unique personalities that stand out. It's harder to sell both names when they're stuck in the same orbit. I'm not sure of any other single but the numbers we keep showing people, which are just numbers. There hasn't been anything more clear than what we've been saying. In fact, you can't even get half as many people into an LSU stadium. When Reese has to deal with Clark all the time, it must be hard on him personally and professionally. Being real instead of competing is what she needs to do to build a brand that people want to follow without having to compare herself to others. Letting her game and attitude stand on their own is the best way to move forward. But can she get away? That's the question. I'm not sure of any other single besides the straight numbers we keep showing people. I don't think anything has been more clear than what we've been saying. In fact, you can't even get half as many people into LSU Arena. Angel Reese is ready to shine. Her game, her spirit, and her presence. But the more she looks for Caitlin Clark's shade, the less light there is in her own life. The WNBA needs many stars, not just copies of existing stars. No one remembers the rival who was stuck and couldn't get away. People remember the person who made something new. That's it for today. We were just thinking why Ice Cube was giving away that bag. He was giving that big bag away. Caitlin said, "Nope." Caitlin said, "Fine. I'm not even going to help you. You need to get it by yourself. I'm not going to do it." Man, this just shows the levels. To do well, Reese doesn't have to do better than Clark. It's about being herself. Star power has money, not with clout chasing. It's an easy question. Is Reese ready to stop comparing herself to others, focus on what she does well, and let her skills change the conversation? Time will tell.